Kale or borecole is a vegetable with green or purple leaves, in which the central leaves do not form a head. It is considered to be closer to wild cabbage than most domesticated forms. The species Brassica oleracea contains a wide variety of vegetables, including broccoli, cauliflower, collard greens, and Brussels sprouts. The cultivar group Acephala also includes spring greens and collard greens, which are extremely similar genetically. Pieris rapae is one of the best-known pests of the plant. Name: the name borecole most likely originates from the Dutch borecole, whereas kale bears semblance to the Danish and Swedish cayenne and to the German Kale and Scottish Gaelic Kale. Some varieties can reach a height of 6 or 7 feet. Others are compact and symmetrical and of good quality for eating. Many, however, are coarse, possess an undesirable coloring, and are unappealing and indigestible. Most kale are either annuals or biennials, and are raised from seeds, which, in size, form, and color, resemble those of the cabbage. In Congo and in East Africa, the plant is referred to by the generic name of sukunawaki, which literally translates as stretch the weak. The term also includes collard greens. Origins: until the end of the Middle Ages, kale was one of the most common green vegetables in all of Europe. Curly-leafed varieties of cabbage already existed along with flat-leafed varieties in Greece in the 4th century BC. These forms, which were referred to by the Romans as Zabelian kale, are considered to be the ancestors of modern kales. Today one may differentiate between varieties according to the low, intermediate, or high length of the stem, with varying leaf types. The leaf colors range from light green through green, dark green and violet green to violet brown. Russian kale was introduced into Canada by Russian traders in the 19th century. During World War II, the cultivation of kale in the UK was encouraged by the Dig for Victory campaign. The vegetable was easy to grow and provided important nutrients to supplement those missing from a normal diet because of rationing. Kailan, a separate cultivar of Brassica oleracea much used in Chinese cuisine, is somewhat similar to kale in appearance and is occasionally called kale in English. Cultivars. Kales can be classified by leaf type: curly-leaved, plain-leaved, rape kale, leaf and spear, cavallonero. Because kale can grow well into winter, one variety of rape kale is called hungrygap, named after the period in winter in traditional agriculture when little else could be harvested. An extra tall variety is known as Jersey kale or cow cabbage. Culinary uses. Kale freezes well and tastes sweeter and more flavorful after being exposed to a frost. Tender kale greens can provide an intense addition to salads, particularly when combined with other such strongly flavored ingredients as dry roasted peanuts, soy sauce roasted almonds, red capsicum flakes, or a sesame-based dressing. When combined with oils or lemon juice, kale's flavor is noticeably reduced. When baked or dehydrated, kale takes on a consistency similar to that of a potato chip. Curly kale varieties are usually preferred for chips. The chips can be seasoned with salt or other spices. Regional culinary uses. In the Netherlands, it is very frequently used in a traditional winter stampot dish called borecole, which is a mix of kale and mashed potatoes, sometimes with fried bits of bacon added to it, and usually served with rookust. In Ireland, kale is mixed with mashed potatoes to make the traditional dish colcannon. It is popular on Halloween when it is sometimes served with sausages. Small coins are sometimes hidden inside as prizes. In Italy, cavallonero is an ingredient of the Tuscan soup rabolita. A variety of kale, kailan, is a popular vegetable in China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, where it is commonly combined with beef dishes. A traditional Portuguese soup, cordo verde, combines pureed potatoes, diced kale, olive oil, broth, and, generally, sliced cooked spicy sausage. In Brazil, where it was introduced by the Portuguese, it is an indispensable side dish for the national stew feijoada. In the Eastern African Great Lakes region, it is an essential ingredient in making a stew for ugali, which is almost always eaten with kale. Kale is also eaten throughout southeastern Africa, where it is typically boiled with coconut milk and ground peanuts and is served with rice or boiled cornmeal. In Italy, Kale is part of many dishes, such as casserole, polenta with kale, Parmesan cheese and olive oil and pizzicato, buckwheat tagliatelle served with kale, melted fontina cheese and potatoes. A whole culture around kale has developed in northwestern Germany around the towns of Bremen, Oldenburg and Hanover. There, most social clubs of any kind will have a Grauwunkartenkulessen or Cultivar sometime between October and February, visiting a country and to consume large quantities of kale stew, pinkel sausage, casserole, metwurst and schnapps. These tours are often combined with a game of Baelm. Most communities in the area have a yearly kale festival which includes naming a kale king. Curly kale is used in Denmark and southwestern Sweden to makalanka yenl or la yenngkanl, an obligatory dish on the job board in the region, and is commonly served together with the Christmas ham. The kale is used to make a stew of minced boiled kale, stock, cream, pepper and salt that is simmered together slowly for a few hours. In Sweden, it is also commonly eaten as a soup, with a base of ham broth and the addition of onion and pork sausages. In Scotland, kale provided such a base for a traditional diet that the word in dialect Scots is synonymous with food. To be off one's kale is to feel too ill to eat. In Montenegro, collards, kale, locally known as rashdan, is a favorite vegetable. It is particularly popular in the winter, cooked with smoked mutton and potatoes. In the southern United States, kale is often served braised either alone or mixed with other greens, such as collard, mustard, or turnip. Flavored kale chips have also been produced as a potato chip substitute. In Japan, kale juice is a popular dietary supplement. Nutritional value: kale is very high in beta-carotene, vitamin K, vitamin C, and rich in calcium. Kale is a source of two carotenoids, lutein and zeaxanthin. Kale, as with broccoli and other brassicas, contains sulforaphane, a chemical with potent anti-cancer properties. Boiling decreases the level of sulforaphane. However, steaming, microwaving, or stir-frying does not result in significant loss. Along with other brassica vegetables, kale is also a source of indole-3-carbinol, a chemical which boosts DNA repair in cells and appears to block the growth of cancer cells. Kale has been found to contain a group of resins known as bile acid sequestrants, which have been shown to lower cholesterol and decrease absorption of dietary fat. Steaming significantly increases these bile acid binding properties. Decorative uses. Many varieties of kale and cabbage are grown mainly for their ornamental leaves, which are brilliant white, red, pink, lavender, blue or violet in the interior of the rosette. Ornamental kale is as edible as any other variety. Literature. The Kale school of Scottish writers, which included J. M. Barrie, consisted of authors who wrote about traditional rural Scottish life. In Cuthbertson's book Autumn in Kyle and the Charm of Cuninane, he states that Kilmores in East Ayrshire was famous for its kale, which was an important foodstuff. A story is told in which a neighbouring village offered to pay a generous price for some kale seeds, an offer too good to turn down. The locals agreed. However, a gentle roasting on a shovel over a coal fire ensured that the seeds never germinated. See also, Boyne's kale, see Kale, references. Dr. D. G. Hossein, The Vegetable and Herb Expert. Expert Books. ISBN 0-900-3505-46-0. External links: Marrow stem kale, Plants for a Future database, Protobase on Brassica oleracea, detailed nutritional composition of kale, nutritiondata.com.